as we watch another group of graduates leave our schools. One thing that comes to mind is, where did the time go? Well, just as quickly as the school year ends, the time to start preparing for the next year begins.
Hello, my name is Marcos de la Garza, and I was the valedictorian at Weslaco High School this past school year. Now, what makes this next year different, besides the fact that I won't be here, is that Weslaco ISD has new enrollment policy that was recently adopted by our school board of trustees. It's listed in the policy handbook as FDA local, and now the title doesn't really mean much to us, but there are elements in the policy that are important to know. We're going to try to simplify this policy and even give you a visual understanding of how these new procedures might benefit you and allow for growth within our district. Now, if you live within the boundaries of the school district, you're not really affected. However, those who are affected are former students, non-resident property owners, and people who work in Weslaco but do not live here. These are the three groups that are presented with new opportunities thanks to this new policy.
Let's start with our former residents. If your child attended Weslaco ISD for 1 full year and you moved away, your child may return to school here at any time, even if he or she no longer lives in Weslaco. Let me give you an example. Let's say your child started school here in kindergarten, and after finishing kindergarten, the family decided to move to another city, such as La Feria or Santa Rosa. If the family wanted their children to continue coming to school in Weslaco, even if they were gone for over a year or more, and still lived in another city, now they could return to Weslaco ISD free of tuition.
If you put a third, put a happy face.
What is important here is that the child did establish him or herself for that 1 year period as a student of Weslaco ISD, and under the new policy, now qualifies as a former resident. School board officials believe that all former students should be able to return at any time to continue receiving the quality education they had previously experienced, regardless of where they live. The next policy change is for non-resident property owners. If you own real property that's within the school district's boundaries and you pay taxes on that land, then your child can come to school here free.
You don't have to live here in Weslaco, but you do have to fill out an application with the superintendent of schools, as well as have some proof that you pay school district taxes on your property, such as a tax receipt, which qualifies you as a non-resident property owner on a tuition-free basis. You would have to fill the same application out every year after, but that's just a simple formality that takes just a few minutes for another year of a quality Weslaco ISD education for your child. The last policy change in our handbook is for people who work in Weslaco but do not live here. The policy handbook calls them non-resident employees within the district.
Let's establish an important factor first. The district boundaries are different than the city limit boundaries.
For example, these are the levees just before entering Mercedes. Our school district boundaries extend all the way up to here, even though it's technically within the Mercedes city limits. So if you work here at the Magic Valley plant, then you can send your child to Weslaco ISD tuition free. There are a few conditions non-resident employees within the district need to know first, but they're easy. The non-resident parent needs to have some sort of proof of employment, like a check with the company name on it or an employee ID card. The business or employer that you work for has to pay school district taxes. The business has to have at least 3 full-time employees, and the business has to have been open for at least 1 full year. Simple. So let's summarize.
Former students can always come back to Weslaco ISD, even if they don't live here. Non-Weslaco residents that own property in the Weslaco ISD boundaries that pay for school district taxes can send their kids here. And people who work in Weslaco but don't live in Weslaco can still send their kids to school here.
All tuition free. and that's a pretty great deal. So I bet you're wondering, what's the catch? Or is this too good to be true? Well, there are a few tiny details the policy handbook calls factors. Number 1, the student's disciplinary history and attendance records are taken into consideration. Hopefully, the kids seeking enrollment were well behaved, made good grades, and were seldom absent. Number 2, the availability of space. That means if the campus you were assigned to is full, you'd have to select another campus within our school district. And number 3, the availability of instructional staff. The school you were assigned to in Weslaco has to have enough teachers to accommodate the increased number of students. With these factors in mind, let's review again. Former students who completed 1 full year in Weslaco can always return, no matter where they live. Non-residents who own property and pay school district taxes can send their children here to Weslaco schools. And non-resident employees who work for businesses within the boundaries of the school district can also send their children here. If you fit any of these categories, then you can fill out an application with their school district to enroll your child to our Weslaco schools. However, not all applications will be accepted automatically. If your child had disciplinary problems or made poor attendance, then these factors will be considered.
The other 2 factors have to do with classroom and teacher availability.
You could even do Anne Frank.
Once you've decided to send your child to Weslaco ISD, the process of assigning a campus will depend on where you live right now, not where you work. For non-resident students, the school map takes on a slightly different look. This is how it looks for our current resident enrollment. But we're going to take all the colors that represent each school zone out and start from scratch. For non-resident students, the school map is divided into 4 sections. Texas Boulevard is the dividing line between East and West schools, and Expressway 83 divides schools that are north and south. To get a better understanding of this, let's use an example that you can visualize. If you live in Mercedes and your address is south of Expressway 83, the schools that you can transfer your child to are all south of Expressway 83, like Margot and Roosevelt Elementary Schools, Cuellar Middle School, and Weslaco East High School. Let's move to another side of the valley map and say you live in San Juan, north of Expressway 83. Your child could be assigned to either Gonzalez, Silva, or Kleckler-Held Elementary Schools, B. Garza Middle School, and Weslaco High School.
So can you see a pattern? The schools where you can enroll your child depends on where you live in relation to the 4 sections of our school district. It's almost as if the boundaries of our school district extends throughout the valley along Expressway 83 and Texas Boulevard, or FM 88.
Not afraid to take a stand, everybody,
The truth is, any school you're assigned to in Weslaco is going to provide you with an amazing learning experience. I think I'm a great example of that. I had the great opportunity of learning from some of the world's finest teachers, providing me with a world-class education. All of my friends and I are now prepared for life after high school. And if it weren't for my teachers starting in kindergarten, then I'm not sure where I'd be today.
This is a really great opportunity for anyone considering coming to school here in Weslaco, and this is why. I could have gone to other charter schools in the area. I got letters in the mail inviting me to enroll, but I would have missed out on so many important things to me, my brother, sister, and parents.
I was fortunate enough to be a drum major for the Weslaco Panther Corps, and I was involved in many UIL events. I wouldn't have had most of these opportunities at any of the competing schools.
I'm sure they have their strengths, but to me, and to a lot of the people to which I associate, our high school experience needed to have it all. And if any one element was missing, it wouldn't have been the same.
So I invite you to come to Weslaco ISD, become a part of our 21st century culture, see how technology is embraced in our everyday lesson plan, and how passionate our teachers are about our success. And when you get here, get involved. Join in with other students who enjoy band, sports, theater, debate, dance, or any other of the student organizations that make coming to school exciting like it was for me.
In a few weeks, I'll be heading out to college. Combining all university-specific and independent scholarships, I was offered close to $1 million from universities like Carnegie Mellon, NYU, and UT. I got a full ride to Rice University in Houston, Texas, greatly in part to my experience at Weslaco ISD, and that is where I will begin my next step in education. Thank you for the opportunity to help promote our new enrollment policies, and I hope that you take up the challenge of bringing your children here. I want to share my experience with each of you so that you can have the same amazing opportunities that I was given. My name is Marcos de la Garza, and I thank you for watching.